this weekend of this series?
I mean, again, it's start of the second half against another very good team, which is pretty much what we've been used to through the whole first half. So obviously there's points at stake. They're behind us. We're ahead of them. We want to maintain that coming out of the weekend.
The lack of spare bodies you guys have going in here to the second half with Bame gone and Sammy injured, how much of a concern is that for you guys?
It's not a concern at all right now. We've got plenty of guys to play, and we got to move some guys around. If things got worse, that's the way it is. But Osterberg will be back, so we're fine. And Molinar will be back probably in a couple of weeks, so a couple guys back that will give us a little more depth.
You mentioned depth a lot. We talked about a lot in the first half. Because of so many guys getting in, how versatile has this team become, and have guys become having to step into a number of different roles?
Well, I mean, it certainly helps. I think we knew that was going to be the strength of our team, is certainly through our forwards and having a lot of returning defensemen per se. I mean, we've only got one freshman back there. I mean, Kotz played. He practiced with us, so he had kind of had a feel, but he didn't play. But we felt that was going to be a strength. Much like it was last year, I thought we were pretty deep through our forward lines, a little young on the back end, but those guys, they all can play, and we tried to get those guys in as much as we could through the first half. And when we did, even when we were winning games, if there was a change or two, we really didn't miss a beat. We kept playing pretty good hockey and winning some games with whoever was in the lineup. So that opportunity for a lot of those guys is good. Just like last weekend, being able to play four lines, play some guys a little bit more, put some guys in some different situations. Not that it was major changes, but it gave them some more ice time. So we're going to need everyone. No matter what. I mean, no matter how many guys you have, you need everybody to be a part of the team. And right now we've got a lot of guys that have been able to get in and contribute.
Anyone in particular you would say, or a number of guys you would say that are the most versatile guys on this team, guys that you can use in a number of different situations, not just 5-on-5 or special teams, but they can really do anything you ask them to?
Well, I think we've got quite a few. I don't want to sit here and name guys. I mean, they're all here. They've all played hockey. They've all been in different situations. Some guys that have been here a little longer and been put in those situations. Some are newer that haven't been put in probably as many situations. But if need be, I think every one of those guys has the opportunity and can do the job no matter where they play. Maybe not playing goalie or switching positions like that, but if they need to play on the power play or kill penalties or do those things, play in a top line, a fourth line, I think we've got a lot of guys that are capable of doing that, and we're going to need guys throughout the year. I mean, our lines haven't changed a whole lot. I don't expect them to, unless something or someone hits the wall or goes really backwards. But I think that's been good, keeping some consistency there. And the only time we really tweaked a lot was, if you want to even call it that, was when Krause was out, moving Cranny out. He's played up there before, so I think we got a lot of guys that can fill in a lot of different spots.
Is there a defenseman you could see playing forward or forward that play defenseman if it somehow came?
Oh yeah, we got guys. Willie Cord played in junior hockey. I mean, I think what defenseman would want to play forward?
This road trip with the atmosphere they bring at the Ralph, does that make it more fun to go on the road when you play in front of 12,000, 13,000 people?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a fun place to play. Obviously they're a good team every year. So much like going into St. Cloud or Minnesota, I mean, your goal is to go in there and have a strong start and keep the crowd out of it, get the lead, and try and play with the lead through the entire game. And that's our goal going in there. When we did that in those buildings, we had some success. So hopefully that's the recipe for it here this weekend as well.
That number one ranking doesn't change anything. Do you relish trying to go in there, knock off number one, or
you want to be number one? No, I don't. I'm sure they don't either. It doesn't mean anything right now. I mean, right now these games are for points. You know, they're trying to catch us. We're trying to stay where we're at and, you know, keep pace with Miami and stay ahead of the people that are below us. So every point's critical. Our goal is to go in there and, you know, right now is to win Friday night and get points and see what happens on Saturday.
That trio that you had nominated for the Hobie, it's obviously early in that stage, but just a tremendous honor for those guys and certainly deserved through that first half.
Well, who do we nominate?
Well, guess not, maybe. Andy.
Don't put that on here. Who do we nominate, Bob?
We nominated Walensky and Conrado and
Kind of figured.
Paulo.
Yeah, okay, those guys are pretty, we don't want to talk about that. I didn't know, sorry.
Okay. Can you talk
I know
about?
we talked about it, but I didn't know what we actually came
Yeah.
up with.
Can you talk about just those three in their first halves?
Great. I mean, obviously Dom's our leading scorer. I think he's had a great first half. It started with the first weekend, and I think he's carried that over. I mean, I think Andy has had probably his strongest year for us. You know, he's really, in my opinion, picked up his play big time from the intensity side of it. Not just scoring goals and doing some of those things, but he really has been, you know, more of a leader back there and on our team this year, and I think probably the experience through his first 2 years has really helped him. And Al is, you know, he's a difference maker. You know, his speed, his puck skill, he puts a defenseman back on their heels. You know, I know he'd probably like to score a little bit more, but hopefully that comes in the second half. But you know, when he's on the ice, I know other teams know about him, and that's a tremendous compliment to him.
North Dakota is number 3 in the nation in points from the blue line. They were number 1 last year. This is not anything new for them. Just talk about how you slow down their aggressive blue liners and how you can maybe take advantage of them.
Well, you know, it's very similar to Denver in a sense. You know, where I think if you give them too much room, they'll pick you apart. So again, like the way we've played against teams all year, and especially teams like that, you have to, you know, certainly pay attention, because they're not only active coming up the rink, they're active in the offensive zone. They're moving around, they're diving down, they're at the net, you know, so it does remind me a little bit of Denver with Walegia and Zajac and those guys that really get around. Those guys are certainly very talented, but, you know, with the back end they have, you certainly have to pay attention to it. But we got to put pressure. You know, you got to pressure them. You know, they're going to make plays still, but. And I think the key is when we're in our offensive zone is not a lot of puck watching. You know, they move around pretty good. They bring, you know, 3 forwards high. They dive their D down. So if we're standing around watching, those guys are going to be, you know, a big part of their offensive push. And so we've got to be good there. But we've seen it before. We've seen it, you know, with a number of teams. It seems to be kind of the way things are going. You know, even Miami, who doesn't maybe have as many of the talented defensemen, but they push the play and they get their guys involved. So it does create problems if you're not aware of it and not paying attention. But we have to do the best job by certainly up the rink, pressuring them, and in the offensive zone, you know, being aware of their movement.
If you pressure at the right times too, it can create opportunities either way, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes when guys play that way too, they have a thought process that's a little bit different. So they might be caught taking chances or thinking the wrong way. And, you know, I think with our speed, and I think some of the guys that we have that can pressure pucks and take good angles and maybe create some turnovers, not just up the rink, but, you know, same thing offensively. You know, if we block shots and everyone does their job, you might get some outnumbered rushes and odd man rushes because maybe they get caught with their D up and the forward not back. And, you know, we'll see how it plays out, but, you know, it's certainly, when teams do that, it does pose a different set of concerns, but we have to be aware of that and do the best job we can.
Bain's no longer with the program. Are you able to talk about the circumstances?
Well, yeah, I mean, he came in, he's had some family issues going on, and he wanted to be closer to home, and that's really kind of where it was at, so. You know, it's sad to see him go because I think he could have helped us in the second half, and I think he was getting better, but that's the decision he made.